Hello, Stewart's 89. Well, having a little bit of a look at the ladies today and totally avoiding Star Trek and Star Trek Discovery at all costs. There was a little controversy just a little while ago I kind of heard about but hadn't really thought too much about. Gal Gadot, or Gal Gadot, no one seems to be able to decide how to say her name, was up for the role of Cleopatra. Apparently Paramount wanted to remake that epic. And they were casting her, and a bunch of people on Twitter had a shit fit. Now, I myself was a bit ignorant of Cleopatra. Now, I'm familiar with the Cleopatra, Elizabeth Taylor Cleopatra, because, of course, I'm gay. I love Elizabeth Taylor, so she's the only Cleopatra in my world. I love Liz. And I even have, like, the Franklin Mint doll up there of her behind me. And the Barbie doll, because, you know, she's Liz. When I saw her wax statue in Madame Tussauds in, I don't know what country it was, I gay gasped, and everyone turned around and looked because they were like, God, it's something like they thought someone had been like stabbed or something. I didn't squeal, but it was like it was really bad because it looked so much like her in the 80s. She was in this red dress with a big poofy sort of 80s sort of. And I, for a second, I thought she was in front of me. I just turned around and there was Liz, and it was really embarrassing. But that's how much I love her. So, and the good thing is I love Gal Gadot almost as much. No, I don't. That's a joke. No, I do love her, though, from the first Wonder Woman. I think she's great. Now, I can forgive her for her attempt at unifying the world during the pandemic with her celebrity rendition of Imagine, which was just so beyond cringeworthy. It created its own realm, I think. But the point is, she was trying to do something nice. I think she's a genuinely wonderful, nice, beautiful, classy, elegant. No, I can't think of anything bad to say about the woman. Although some people who are quite racist have issues with the fact that she's Israeli, which I don't even know because whatever, who cares? But yeah, so some people have issues with her playing Cleopatra. Now, like I said, my Cleopatra was Liz. So I didn't realise... I always thought the role had just been whitewashed because, you know, back in the day, they didn't let people of colour be in movies. They certainly didn't let them be the main star of a movie because who would go see one of those people in a movie? Because, you know, racism and horrible stuff. So I forgave Liz for that because, I mean, she never wanted the role. She famously was so tired of being chased for the role to play it that she just said, oh, I'll do it for $1 million as a joke, because no actress had ever been paid $1 million to be in a film. And they came back and said, okay. And she was like, oh, I don't know if it was, oh shit, I better do it because I said I would, or just like, oh, I want that money. I want to have $1 million for a role and be the first actress to be paid. I don't know exactly what made her take that role on, but it was a disaster. She got sick during the shoot because they were filming it somewhere. I can't remember where they filmed it originally, but the temperature wasn't good. She got pneumonia. She literally, I don't know if she died or she nearly died. I don't know if she died and they brought her back, or if they just, I know they had to give her a tracheotomy. That's why she had this scar. Oh God, it's hard to believe she's dead, actually. She died a few years ago, but she had this tracheotomy scar. I have to remember to put her in the past tense from that. And they had to break down the set and move everything to Rome, where it was a warmer climate, to finish filming the film. It took forever. It cost a fortune for that. It dragged out forever also because not only her illnesses, but also just drama on the set. It was the most expensive film ever made by Hollywood, I think, at the time, and it basically broke the old studio system and totally destroyed Hollywood. And we had a different era of films after that, and things changed, and so that was my Cleopatra, and I just assumed, like I said, it was whitewashed and didn't think too much about it. But apparently, I just assumed she was Egyptian and that they whitewashed her, but apparently she wasn't Egyptian. And I'm like, what? Cleopatra wasn't Egyptian? What the hell? I didn't know this. I'm from Australia. I went to public school. We didn't exactly spend a lot of time on history. And popular culture usually takes precedent over what you actually should learn about history in school. So I just assumed she was Egyptian and that the actress had and would always be whitewashed because racism would say, who wants to see an Egyptian star in a film? Because, who'd want to see one of those people on the big screen? They're beautiful. I don't know why you wouldn't. But racist people, are stupid. So I was quite surprised because I'm hearing about this and I'm like, oh, yeah, of course, they're whitewashing because she's not Egyptian. And I'm like, oh, she wasn't Egyptian. She was Greek. But then there's some argument of what she was, like it matters, because no one seems to know the race of her mother. And I'm like, how is this a mystery in history? How did no one happen to note down somewhere who her mother was? I mean, she's Cleopatra and no one bothered to document who her freaking mother was. I don't know how that happened, history. Can you explain this to me? So yeah, she apparently, there's several options. The first assumption is that it was another woman of Greek descent that the Greek king or prince or whoever he was, the father was, just latched onto from the kingdom or the family or whatever, because apparently there were some incest issues with those days. And so that she's basically fully Greek, Macedonian Greek. And I'm like, okay. They're kind of white, so, I mean, not really, but, less than Egyptian, less than black. So visually, Gal Gadot would fit into that better. And what you find with these sort of biofilms and historical films is they want to make everyone prettier and sexier and smarter and better than they really were, because you want to be these people, you want to watch, you want to go see the beautiful Cleopatra seduce, everyone down the Nile. That's so we can forgive her for being prettier than the real Cleopatra, because some of the depictions of her, she wasn't the prettiest girl, but she was seductive and intelligent, and she had other means to, power other than just being pretty. So I can forgive Gal Gadot for pretty washing the character. I mean, that's what Hollywood usually does, no matter what race. Even if they've got an accurate race depiction of a character, they're still going to find the prettiest black person to be a black character, or the prettiest whatever to be a whatever. That's just the way they're going to go. Even if they get the actual ethnicity right, they're still going to go for the prettiest, sexiest, best character than someone who looks exactly like them, or even younger, and then put makeup on them to make them look more like the character, like they've done a few times with actresses. I'm like, why didn't you just find some old actress who can't get work because she's old and let her play the old character instead of taking some young character and making them up to look older? I find that so bizarre. It costs money, it takes time, it's less plausible, and probably more expensive too, but whatever. I'm rambling, I'm going off on tangents. Here I was thinking this video would last a minute, maybe if I was lucky, but I just want to comment on it. So, and the other possibility is that she was actually part Egyptian, that someone local from the priesthood or whatever ended up being her mother. So that's possible. She could be 50% Greek, or even less if that person wasn't fully Greek. But so she could, did I say Greek? Egyptian. She could have been 25 to 50% Egyptian. It's a possibility, but unlikely. And also some people are suggesting she was part African, that the mother was black. And I don't know where that came from. I think people got a bit confused with the 1970s Cleopatra Jones blaxploitation character, and they got it in their head somehow that Cleopatra should or was black. Because I don't know where that came from, because there were African people around. They existed at the time, but they didn't exactly intermarry and mingle so much, just like some people were suggesting she could be part Arab. Well, they didn't exactly intermingle until later, when apparently they invaded the country 700 years later. I don't know anything about that. So I'm just finding this all out now, that Cleopatra wasn't Egyptian. She was probably Greek, possibly Greek-Egyptian, but people are screaming on Twitter that they're whitewashing this character. Gal Gadot how dare she take the role? Because she's not black, because there should be a black person playing Cleopatra, at least someone darker than her. She's not dark enough. Well, I don't think all Greek people are all dark anyway. I know I have a friend who's Greek, he's half Greek, and he's just as pale as me. He can tan, but in winter he's just as white as me. I don't really understand what the drama is. I don't get it. I mean, I get if you believe she was part black, then you would feel like they're whitewashing. But if you did a bit of research, you'd probably find out how unlikely that is. It's not impossible, but it's unlikely. just as much as her being part Egyptian is unlikely. It's more likely, but it's unlikely. She was pretty much Macedonian, and Gal Gadot looks Macedonian enough for me. She looks Greek enough for me. I don't really think people should be getting this upset about this. There's bigger things in the world to worry about right now, like a pandemic, like economic disaster, Trump. There's so many things to worry about, but to worry about this actress not being white enough for who you thought Cleopatra was, I find it really bizarre. So I'm really excited about the idea of Gal Gadot playing Cleopatra and what they could do with the effects, because they spent a lot of money on actual props and sets and extras to make that film as epic as it is. What they could do going half and half, having a lot of actual, built stuff and extras, and then actually having it all extended and expanded with CGI, it could be stunning. So I'm really looking forward to that, and I'm looking forward to Wonder Woman 1984 because I love Gal. She's gorgeous, she's strong, she's elegant, she is charming. She's everything that so many other actresses that we are having shoved down our throats are not. And I would watch pretty much anything she's in. So I hope it happens. I hope she doesn't get pressured by the and I'm left wing myself, but there is this extreme left, which is just as bad as the extreme right, who want her to step down, and it's not impossible that she wouldn't do it. Some actresses have stepped down from roles they shouldn't have taken in the first place, but I don't think she did anything wrong taking this. She probably did some research and was like, oh wow, I'm not whitewashing anything, yay, I can play this part. I hope she does it. I hope it happens, and I just think it's crazy that this many people are this upset about something because they're just ignorant of history and they have their own idea of what history was and what they want it to be. And they should just shut up. Just do your research, shut up, don't bother this poor actress who is just trying to work and do the best job she can. I'm sure she's the nicest person in real life. I'd love to meet her. I hope she does a convention. I hope she does a convention at some point. She's pretty big. She's probably too big to do, Comic Cons and stuff like that. Like in our country, it's like the travel. She might do a local one in America because she just got to walk down the street. But it's a bit of an ask to have her come here. But I would love to meet her. So, I'm going to go. Feel free to share, like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you think. Do you think this is crazy? I think this is crazy. And it was fascinating to learn about Cleopatra, and I'm really ashamed that all the documentaries I watched about the film and Elizabeth Taylor's Cleopatra, I never watched a single documentary, although I own a couple, about Cleopatra herself. I bought them because, I should actually learn something about the real Cleopatra since I love the film so much. Never watched them. But I'm going to go back and play with my Liz doll and be fully gay. Bye.